Now before we get into the video, I do want to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsors, and once again that is jerseyfifa.com. They really do help keep the content on this channel going, and they even sent me a free shirt which you can see on screen here. And as you can see, I got the new Manchester United home kit, and genuinely the kit really is top quality. I highly recommend their product. So make sure to get in a link in the description down below, and now if you use code JerseyFifa at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. You get a great football shirt, and you help support the channel, which I really do appreciate massively. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the Scouting for United series, the series where I look at different players around the world, break them down as a player, and tell you whether or not Manchester United should sign them. And today we are going to be talking about Giorgio Scalvini. Now, episode 1 was on Jude Bellingham, a player you already knew a lot about, I would imagine. That may not be the case with Giorgio Scalvini, so let's get straight into the video and break down his profile. We can see that he's 18 years old, soon 19 in December, just after the World Cup. Plays for Italy and is of course a centre-back, currently playing for Atalanta, although he can also play as a holding midfielder. Now, one thing I should say before we get into the stats and things like that is the sample size is small with Scalvini. When we were looking at Bellingham, we were talking about a player that has played senior football for several seasons now. That isn't the case with Scalvini, he is still breaking onto the scene. This is very much a signing or a player to be looking at for the next couple of seasons. But anyway, bear with me, let's get into it. And like I said, he is very much a centre-back and predominantly a right-sided centre-back. That is typically where you will see him in the defence. Although actually, if you watch the Italian under-21 side, you will often see that he plays at the heart of a back three. So that's something interesting to look at. He can play in a few different positions. And actually, also on top of that, we have seen games where he has been playing as more of a holding midfielder, including recently against Roma in Serie A, a big game, and he was trusted to play in as a holding midfielder, which is a good sign. And one of the reasons for this is because he is very good on the ball. So let's say he was to play for Manchester United at right centre-back. He is always, one, happy to take the ball under pressure, play his way out of the press, very press resistant with the ball at his feet. He is happy to take his man on. But then from there, he's a very progressive passer. And we're going to see that when we look at some of his numbers in a second. Actually, let's just go on to that now and let's go to his FBref report, of course, for that. If you want to check out FBref, it's very easy to find. Just literally search a player's name and then FBref, and you can check out any player's report in Europe's top 5 leagues. But what we can see from his stats here is, one, if we look at his top section, he carries a lot of attacking threat, and that's not surprising when you're 6'3" tall. He is a big threat at set pieces. But what I'm more interested in is here, the 96th percentile for progressive passes, 5.3 per 90. Really impressive for a young centre-back. Now, again, like I said a minute ago, the sample size is still small. So, for example, if a player plays 50 games and plays 5 progressive passes per 90, that's much more impressive than if a player has done it in 6 games. But that is all we have to go off for now, And I think it's really promising. I think it's something that Ten Hag particularly looks for in centre-backs. We saw it with the signing of Lisandro Martinez. One of the big benefits we were discussing is his ability to play the ball through the lines. Now, this is something that United have struggled with for several seasons now. So Scalvini could be ideal to play that sort of role of progressing the ball for Manchester United. Like I said, he is confident playing out from the back. So if United eventually evolve to play in that way, he would be perfect for that. And then, once United are in control, he can progress the ball forward through the lines, into the feet of someone like Bruno Fernandes or Christian Eriksen, or perhaps even the wingers. So I think that is certainly a good sign. We can break down his FBref report a little bit further and look at things from a more defensive point of view. We can see 97th percentile for tackles, 99th percentile for tackles won, tackles in the defensive third, the middle third, and the attacking third, all very high, which probably gives you a bit of an idea of his style as a defender. Now, he isn't someone who wants to sit around and cover back here. He is a front foot defender, very aggressive in the way that he likes to play. Always getting right up the back of the opponent, looking to put them under pressure, looking to make the tackle as quick as possible. And again, that is something that we also see him do for the Italian under-21 side, even when he plays as the middle centre-back, which isn't necessarily always common in a back three, but he is very much the aggressor. We can also see that he ranks well for dribblers tackled and dribbles contested. However, he does rank poorly for being dribbled past, and at 6'3", he isn't the most agile footballer in the world, so in terms of if we want to talk about his first weakness, I do think that you can dribble past him. So that would be a concern moving forward. But back to the positive side, the pressures are good, the successful pressures, the pressures in the middle third and the attacking third. And once again, that really highlights the fact that he wants to play on the front foot. And in terms of tactically, we could argue that doesn't necessarily fit Manchester United right now. Now, at the moment, we've got Rafa Varane and Lisandro Martinez, and the duo works quite nicely because Martinez presses high, and then Varane covers round behind him. So, perhaps that is something that needs to be considered when we talk about, is this the right signing for Manchester United? Now, people will say United don't need a centre-back because Rafa Varane is very good, but one, Varane is injury prone, and he is ageing, he is starting to age, so United need to be recruiting for the future. The fact that there's an 18-year-old kicking about in Europe who looks very promising, this is something that United should be keeping an eye on. I'm not saying he should come and be United's starter this season, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. But just United recruiting for the future, it's certainly a player that United should consider. And I really like him from a defensive point of view. For his age, he's very aware, his tactical reading of the game is very impressive, his positioning is always good, he always seems nice and switched on, which is always good to see. And in general, just his stats, I think this is from last season, are quite impressive. 82% accurate passes per game, 87% of which are in his own half, 76% completed in the opposition's half. The one area I would like to see him improve on the ball is with his long passes. I noticed this particularly when I was watching the Italian under-21s against England under-21s last week. There were a lot of situations where, let's picture he's like in a back three like this, and the winger was high. There were a lot of situations where he had the ball here, and I thought the switch was on, out to the left winger, and he didn't really want to play it. So that's something that would be interesting to look at moving forward. Is there a reason he isn't playing it? Is it tactical instruction, or is it a lack of trust in his own passing ability? Something that's interesting to keep an eye on, because I do think if he was to join United, then the way that Ten Hag likes to play, with his wingers holding a lot of width, I do think he would like centre-backs that can play long passes. We know Lisandro Martinez can do it. We saw it for Ajax last season, out to Antony. I think Ten Hag would want Scalvini to be able to do the same. Now, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying we don't really see it at the moment. So that is something to look at moving forward. But again, his defensive numbers are good in terms of clearances per game, possession won, tackles per game, and interceptions per game. Again, the question is just being dribbled past. I think you could get at him with a small, nippy winger. So that's something to keep an eye on. In terms of availability, is he a player that is regularly available? Well, it's difficult to say because, of course, again, the sample size is small. He hasn't played a ton of first-team football, but in terms of injury, only the one real injury of note, and he missed 2 games over a 10-day period with a thigh problem. But we can see there's nothing really to be worried about. There's no recurring injuries, nothing wrong with the knees, which can be a big problem. So nothing to worry about there. And I think he looks like a really good young defender, and this is a player that should be on Manchester United's radar. Now, like I was saying, he is still young. He is only 18 years old. He hasn't played a ton of football for Atalanta. So I'm not saying he is the solution right away. I'm not saying sign him in January and make him your starting centre-back. But I do think United need to start recruiting, signing younger players, rather than noticing them that when they're 22 years old and worth £100 million. United need to be picking up these players whilst they're young, especially when his contract is running out in the summer. United could do this for free, which removes almost any risk with the transfer from Manchester United's perspective. This is a top young centre-back who a lot of people may not be too aware of, but there's a lot of quality there. A lot of quality, and for free in the summer. Now, the contract situation may change before then, so this is something United need to act on quickly, potentially in January. And then, I think if it was me, I would then look to loan him out for a season or two. Either back to Italy or somewhere like the Eredivisie. Particularly Ten Hag might like that sort of thing, seeing how he does in the Eredivisie, Dutch football that Ten Hag knows and knows how to judge it. That would be interesting to see. But I just think when there's a young centre-back that looks this good at this age, and a free transfer, United have to be keeping an eye on it. They really have to be keeping an eye on it. Now, like I said, if we go to tactically, the question is, does he tactically fit? I think there's a lot of quality there. He's good on the ball, he's press resistant, he's nice and progressive with his passing, always looking to pass through the lines. Defensively, he's very good in the air, he's a threat at attacking set pieces, he's good on defensive set pieces, he's aggressive with his defensive play style. The question is, tactically, would he fit what United are trying to do? And I'm actually not too sure at the moment because Ten Hag's tenure has been quite short so far. Now, like I said, Varane is often the covering defender behind the defence. So that might suggest that Scalvini isn't the right man because he wants to play on the front foot. And typically I would agree. I think 2 front foot defenders can be dangerous because you leave the space in behind. But again, if we go back to Ten Hag, his previous tactics, and look at Ajax last season, Sandro Martinez and Jurrien Timber are both two very front-footed defenders. And we know that he also likes to play a sweeping keeper. So if United are trying to move forward into that over the next couple of seasons, a goalkeeper that sweeps behind the defence, then you probably can play two aggressive defenders, as long as the understanding is there that when one pushes, the other covers. Will that be the case? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see how Ten Hag's football develops. And I think with Scalvini, this is a player that we need to come back to towards the end of the season and kind of have a look at it again. But certainly keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him over the course of the season. Now, if you go watch him, one of the first things you'll notice is that he is very tall. Taller than most of the players around him. And for that reason, he isn't the quickest. And he's not the quickest on the turn as well. But just watch him with the ball at his feet. Really, really impressive. Loves to dribble his way out from the back. If he gets pressed, he's happy to take his time, turn a player, move forward, and then pass balls forward through the line. He really starts a lot of attacks when he plays just with his passing, which is something that United need. The positives are there, certainly. Like I said, from a defensive point of view, very aggressive, very good in the air, strong in the tackle, reads to play well, gets the interceptions. I think if we go back to this FBref report, towards the bottom, passes blocked, ranks incredibly well. And again for tackles, and then also errors. Young players normally have a lot of errors in their game, not the case for Scalvini. So a really, really good young defender that people need to be watching. Is he 100% perfect for Manchester United? I think he could be. I do really think he could be with a bit of work. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But really, you have to be keeping an eye on him. In terms of overall ranking, should Manchester United sign him? I'm going to put him at a C rating. And a couple of reasons for that. One is he is young and free, which instantly boosts his rating, in my opinion. He's very good on the ball, progressive with his passing, calm on the ball, doesn't make mistakes, strong in the tackle, good in the air. All looks quite good. The reasons it comes down a bit is because he hasn't really proven himself consistently at senior level yet. Hopefully that happens over the course of this season for Atalanta. And also he just can be a little bit clunky at times off the ball, which is why I wouldn't rank him any higher. But the potential is certainly there. Now it's over to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you seen him play? If not, are you going to go watch him play now? I really do recommend that you do. Very good player. And also get in the comments and let me know what player you'd like me to see. I can't talk today, can I? You'd like to see me look at next. Let me know what you think. Personally, a C ranking. I think this is a player that Manchester United should really be keeping their eye on. Really good player. Really good player. Keep an eye on him. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.